Okay, we're continuing to look at solving linear equations in one variable. So this is the third example, and this is where we introduced problems that have fractions in them. So again, we're employing all the previous strategies in terms of, well, what do we need to do? It doesn't change. Solving equations is exactly the same. We want to end up with whatever the variable is at the end equal to some number. So that doesn't change no matter how long the equation looks or how short it is or how complicated it looks or how easy. Same end game. So with this, like previously when we had brackets, when you have a fraction, the fraction locks in the x's, so we can't move them around freely. So when you have a situation where you have fractions, you're trying to eliminate the fractions because you want to break everything down, break out the brackets, eliminate brackets, remove fractions to allow you to freely move around terms, so you end up with x equals whatever number. So in this situation here, we have denominators of 6 and 3. And if you remember back to when you dealt with fractions previously, you would find the lowest common denominator. Okay, so in this situation, we're going to do the. Remember, we're trying to break the fractions. Fractions are in and of themselves a symbol of division. Okay, so fractions, when we see a line and a 6 underneath it, that means 2x minus 11 is being divided by 6, 5x minus 1 is being divided by 3. So we want to break that connection. To break that connection, we do the inverse operation, which is multiply. We're going to multiply by one number that basically breaks the connection for both 6 and 3. And that number, the lowest common denominator of 6 and 3, is 6. So we're just going to write over here, we're going to multiply every single term by 6, and we'll write that out. So you put the 6 outside the bracket, and it's always good to include a bracket, plus 6 times 5x minus 1 over 3, and don't forget we have to also multiply everything on the other side by 6 as well. So we write it out like that. Now we don't actually need to go and start multiplying stuff by 6, because the purpose of multiplying by 6 was trying to eliminate the 6 on the bottom. So what we're doing now is we're basically saying, okay, we're multiplying this thing by 6, but there's also a divide by 6 on the bottom. So if you multiply something by 6 and divide something by 6, you end up with whatever that thing is just by itself. So we just end up with 2x minus 11, because 6 divides into 6 one time, so we just have 1 of the 2x minus 11. The 6 in the next term, we have 6 times 5x minus 1. 3 divides into 6 twice, so we end up with 2 times 5x minus 1. And on the other side, we have 6 times 2, which is 12. Okay, so we end up now, if you want, so we end up with this line. So we've eliminated the fractions by multiplying across by the lowest common denominator, which is 6. Now we've seen this before. We need to eliminate the brackets, so we do that by expanding them. So we have 2x minus 11 plus 10x minus 2 equals 12. And again, you just do one step at a time. Don't try and do 3 and 4 things at one time. One step at a time. You reassess every time. Next step, we say, okay, can we simplify this before we move any further? Yes, we've got like terms here. We've got 2x and 10x. That's 12x. We have minus 11 and minus 2. That's minus 13. And we still have the 12 over there. Now we look again and say, okay, what were we trying to achieve here? We're trying to get x terms on the left hand side and the constants on the other side. So there's only one x term, 12x, that's fine. We need to remove the minus 13. So we do that by adding 13 to both sides. Okay, so that gives us 12x, and that gives us 25. Okay, so again, 12 and x, how are they connected? They're connected via multiplication. So we're going to divide both sides by 12, because that's the inverse operation. And you end up with x equals 25 over 12. All right. And again, you say, okay, How do I know that that weird looking number is correct? Well, as we know now at this stage, we have to go and verify our answer. So 2x minus 11 over 6 plus 5x minus 1 over 3 equals 2. This is our original equation that we were given to solve. So then we're just going to take out the x, put in our value that we just found, okay. So when you put that 12, that left hand side into your calculator as it is, taking care with the fraction buttons and the brackets and everything like that, you end up with 2 equals 2. Okay, so we have verified that our answer is correct.